Hello, everybody. My name is Franklin, and I'm really excited to talk to you about my Spanish progress in the first quarter of 2020 versus 2019. Again, my name is Franklin, and this is first1000hours.com. Don't give up on your language learning marathon. You can make it. You can make it through your first 1,000 hours. I recommend the Nature for Kids Beginning Spanish DVD as a fun way to help kids learn Spanish. The affiliate link to that is in the description of this video. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my screen right here. And again, like I said, we're going to be comparing Franklin against Franklin. I think it's pretty cool because the real thing in language learning that you get to compete against, or the real person you should try to compete against, is yourself. And so I'm going to go into the first 1,000 hour vault and video vault and see what I said in 2019 of March at the end of that month, I believe, or the beginning of April, something like that, about my first quarter progress. Now you're going to see that the live stream that I did that time was very different than the live stream that we're doing right now. I just had my camera and my phone, and I was just using that and just doing a live stream straight from my phone. I didn't know that was a privilege at that time because now YouTube doesn't allow creators that have less than 1,000 subs to live stream from their phone. But anyway, you're going to see that the video quality is not the best, but you're going to be able to see anyway what I said about my progress. So we'll look at that right now. And my big goal for this year is to read 12 Spanish books. And I just wanted to share with you an update about that. And my update is that I'm still on book number 1. So I have a long way to go. I've only read about 340 to 350 pages into this book. It's called Hogar Cristiano. All right, and so I was amazed actually as I was looking at that because I said that I had read at least 340 pages. So even though I didn't finish a book in that time period, I had done that. So let's look at what I have done up to this point. And so we'll look at the first slide over here, my progress in reading. It starts with watching. I've watched 5 hours and 40 minutes. I meant to say 40 minutes of Martha Emerson's Spanish online business course. And so that's what I've done this month. Not a lot, but I did something. Okay, and then I have read 134 pages in El Progreso del Peregrino, around 29 pages in Patriarcas y Profetas, and 12 pages in La Gran Controversia. And when you add up all of that, that's about 175 pages that I've read this month. And so I'll just show you some other progress here. I've read a total of 338 pages in Spanish so far this year. That's an approximate total because I did not count the pages of Spanish I read in the Bible. And honestly, I needed to do a better job documenting my progress because I got lazy this month in doing that, but I was able to kind of figure out how much I did. And so 175 is what I'm going to say. It should be slightly a little bit more than that, but that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. And then so that means I still need to read 1,662 pages in Spanish and watch 194 hours in Spanish courses before 2020 ends to meet my goals. So you can see that last year I found out that I was actually reading more than this year, just slightly. But because I'm challenging myself and I'm seeking to go further than what I did last year, I was a little bit disappointed by that, but I am encouraged with my reading progress last month or this month in March. And with the online business course, I need to improve on that as well. So that's what I can share with you about the comparison between last year and this year. I wanted to show you some other things on my slides, and you can feel free to ask me any questions. And so if I watch 21.5 hours of Spanish courses per month, I will meet my course goal. And when I'm talking about courses, again, that is not talking about beginner courses in Spanish. I'm talking about a native level course or courses that are designed to teach me something in Spanish. So I am taking right now Martha Emerson's online business course, and it's been pretty interesting for what I have done. And then also, if I read 184.6 pages in Spanish per month, I'll meet my year's reading goal. So for this month, I was supposed to watch about 19 hours of things in Spanish for my Spanish courses. I did not do that, but I almost got up to my goal of reading around 183 pages. Came very close to that. I have watched things outside of being in Martha Emerson's online business course, but I have not tracked that because I just want to track what I have done specifically in watching things in a Spanish course. Okay, so that's what I can say there. I want to show you other things here. I want to share with you some highlights. And when I have to talk to you about Language Learning Lover, because when I was looking at my live stream video that I did on a camera, I was reminded of Language Learning Lover. She has basically been with First 1,000 Hours since I started. She commented on the first video. Her name was Hair Candy Kina, and so her name is Kina. And so I want to show you something that I did. I just did a little compilation of different videos that I mentioned Language Learning Lover in, and this is not all conclusive. There's a lot of other videos as well that I've done mentioning her, but I want to share that with you right now. I also want to read Hair Candy Kina's comment. Hey Kina. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so I'm really glad that you are watching the live stream. So I want to start with talking about what Language Learning Lover shared. I just want to say hello to Language Learning Lover. I want to say hello to Language Learning Lover. And first of all, I want to let you know that I'm really happy about something that Language Learning Lover said. All right, and so Language Learning Lover, again, I just want to thank you so much for being here at First 1,000 Hours and just contributing and all of that. It's been an encouragement, and I'm glad for your language learning journey as well. All right, so I want to continue here and just share with you something else. And one highlight was talking about, or I want to talk to you about this book. This is again called El Progreso del Peregrino, and this is like groundbreaking for me, because what I decided to do with reading this book is to read it without using any dictionary and without using any software. Now, I have not finished the book. You can see I still have more pages to go. I have this much more to go, but I've read basically most of the book, and I did this all in this month, and I was able to have around 80% comprehension. Now, I will tell you some caveats about this. I have read Pilgrim's Progress before. Pilgrim's Progress is a book about, it's like an allegory of the Christian's journey to the celestial city. It's a really interesting book, and I remember reading a paraphrase of this book when I was 15. So, that was about 20 years ago. And I have listened to some audio versions of Pilgrim's Progress, and I've also watched like a kid's version of Pilgrim's Progress as well. And I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to that kid's video that I think some of you might like to show your children and things like that. So I have not put in the description yet, but after this video I will make sure I do that. Some kids have seen that I know, and they have liked that video. So I think some kids will like that as well. And if you haven't learned about Pilgrim's Progress, I think you will like that. So that's what I wanted to share with you there. I'm continuing to keep on challenging myself, and I want to share with you some other highlights as well. So, okay, so another thing I did is I tried to read this book, and I need to make it like this so you can actually see that. La Gran Controversia. And so I'll be talking about that in a second. This is like a Bible prophecy and history book, and so I will be sharing something about that because I was being reminded. I have read that book in English before, but I was being reminded of religious liberty, which I think is something to remember right now, especially religious liberty and how America was founded. And I wonder how many people know that live in America about someone named Roger Williams. And if you don't know about Roger Williams, you should know about him. And so I'm going to put a YouTube video from about a national park in Rhode Island. And it's very interesting because he was very foundational in helping establish religious freedom here in America. And so I read a chapter. It was like, again, 12 pages in this book, and a lot of that was dealing with him and his significance in America and helping found Rhode Island, because pilgrims would come to America, and even though they were escaping religious persecution and all this, they were bringing some of the ideas of persecution with them, and they kind of at one point required people to go to church and under a penalty of a fine or a penalty of imprisonment. And so Roger Williams was this crazy guy that said, hey, you shouldn't require anybody to go to a church if they don't want to, and all of this. And so he had to be banished from where he was, and he had to go flee in the wilderness and in the wintertime. And eventually he was able to, found this colony called Rhode Island where people could go and worship God according to the dictates of their conscience. And that is very important. So I just want to share with you something I read there, like two things I read there. This is what it says here. And this is in English. Obviously, I read it in Spanish, but it says, Williams was the first person in modern Christendom to establish civil government on the doctrine of liberty of conscience, the equality of opinions before the law. He declared to be the duty of the magistrate to restrain crime, but never to control the conscience. This is what else he said, or it was said about him. It says attendance at the services of established church was required under penalty of fine or imprisonment. It says Williams repudiated the law. The worst statute in the English code was that which did but enforce the attendance upon the parish church. To compel men to unite with those of a different creed, he regarded as an open violation of their natural rights to drag public worship. The irreligious and the unwilling seem only like requiring hypocrisy. And so I'm very thankful that, we have historically been a land in the United States that has granted freedom of religion. And I was really glad to be able to just continue to learn again about history, and I would say also Bible prophecy, but also do that by reading things in Spanish. And so I'll put maybe some of these quotes as well if you'd like to know more about this book. I'll put some of that in the description as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this presentation with some other highlights. Now, I had challenged y'all, I believe in the part of February, to do a sleep challenge with me. And so what I was saying was that the challenge was to go to bed 20 days in March and go to bed by 10 and have at least 7 hours of sleep. And so that was a big thing for me because I wanted to be more organized. I wanted to be able to, get good sleep and all of that, and just get more on a routine. And I have to say, and I'm happy to say this finally on a live stream update, that I actually completed that challenge. And I am really thankful to do that. I've been more organized, especially with cleaning, and I believe that this is helping me to continue in my language learning marathon and be more hitting my goals and all of that. And I think this is a good foundation. All right, I want to share some other things. I really have liked being on Martha Emerson's online business class, although I haven't really spent too much time in there. I need to spend more with that, but I was interested in the part of being able to see people do like this group coaching call on Zoom. And so that's what she's done for a long time. And so I've been able to listen to different people talk about their business perplexities and problems and all of that. So I get to hear Martha Emerson speak, as well as a lot of other Spanish speakers on a topic that I'm interested in, online business. And then I went through one of her modules in her online class about defining your niche. And so that was helpful for myself to go through that. And I probably will go through that again to really have a definition, I think, for first 1,000 hours and be even more focused on what I'm trying to do here with my value proposition and other things like that. So I was happy to go through that. And I'm also looking forward to being able to take off some days from work. And what I want to do is be able to schedule it so that I can be in her group coaching calls that she does on Tuesdays. And I think that would be cool to be able to do that in Spanish and maybe participate in a 7-minute part of that group coaching call that she does to actually ask some questions to her. So she gives like 7 minutes to people to talk to her, and then that whole coaching call via Zoom is about 2 hours long. So I've watched 2 of those coaching calls so far. All right, I want to continue as well. My plans for next month, I want to focus on sleep, and I want to give you an extended sleep challenge. So the sleep challenge last month, or this month I should say, which is basically last month because March is basically over right now. And a lot of you that are going to be watching this video are not even going to see it today, the last day in March. But my sleep challenge is this, that again, we go to bed by 10, but we have, instead of just 7 hours of sleep, we have at least 7.5 hours of sleep, at least 20 days in April. Okay, so that's what I'm committing to doing, and I hope that you will do that as well. And then also, I have an exercise challenge for you as well as for myself, and that is to do 30 minutes of aerobic exercise, or some type of exercise, I should say, but at least aerobic exercise for 30 minutes, 3 days in the week. Okay, so that means that is a commitment to do that for 12 days in the month. Okay, and I think that that helps as well with our mental clarity and all of that, as well as, you know, it's good to be healthy. I know a lot of people are thinking about health right now, or at least their state of health and all of this, but instead of so much focusing on external things, let's focus on things that we actually can do. And so sleep and exercise will help with our overall health, but also I believe helping us accomplish our language learning goals as well. And another thing I want to do is be more focused. I want to show this to you. I have my planner, and I have been writing in this, but I haven't been so faithful writing in my planner every day. And what I found for myself that has helped me the most is when I seek to write out, you know, prayerfully write out my plans for the following day, the day before. And so the night before, it's really helpful for me to do that. I find when I'm trying to get up and trying to do this, I might do it, but it's not as focused as if I do it the night before. And so I need to just be more prepared, I believe, in my routine throughout the day. And as far as focus, I want to write down in the calendar. I want to show you the calendar section. Basically, I want to have, like, for April, I want this to be filled with, okay, I want to actually read, you know, like 184 pages. So where am I going to put that on the calendar? Like, where am I going to be, for instance, like on April 15th? I can already start using this part of my calendar to have a plan for the month instead of just thinking about a day-to-day plan. So I want to utilize this part, which I haven't really done. I've really done like the days, like writing things in for the day, but I want to start utilizing the whole planner. And so I'll be interested if you are doing a planner or using a planner to help you with your language learning goals. How are you doing that? Please leave me some comments about that. How did you do on the sleep challenge? I would like to know that as well. And how are you doing overall in this first quarter from January to the end of March 2020? How have you done, and how have you done compared to last year? So it's kind of cool to be able to document things, because then you can be able to, you know, see how your progress is going. All right, and that's basically what I wanted to share with you. And I want to let you know as well that I'm going to put up that video on the screen. I have a playlist of the Roger Williams